Hi, Bobo, and blessings, y'all. So, decided to make another video because I do like it out here. So I thought it would be good to talk about maybe some big basic principles of Vodou, like, what does Vodou think about things? Because Vodou gets accused of being like a thoughtless kind of thing, like that it's just like, those evil black people hurting those innocent white folks, with their horrible devil powers. But like obviously it's a lot more than that because trust me, if I had horrible devil powers, fuck people up. There'd be a lot of broken bones out there. So, Vodou, ultimately, the first and most important thing that I always tell people and that I say probably all the time, right, is like the primary thing you need to have to use to do Vodou is a candle or something. It's fire and water. That's it. It's very basic. Yes, there are other things that if you are doing Vodou in a bigger way or in a different way, you're going to need also other stuff. But you will also always need water and light. These two elements are like the primary, most basic, most narrowed down requirements to have life, for life to flourish. And so these things must be present. People ask me all the time, oh, I want to get started on Vodou. What do I do, right? And you'll find this answer a lot of places. You wake up, you go outside or to your door or to somewhere in your house. You pour 3 drops of water, left, right, and center, right? And you talk to the little water. It's very easy. But this upsets people because they want the marathon run. If you want the marathon, come join us. Because when you have to do more than just, pour water and light a candle, you will probably want to just light a candle and pour some water. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Accept the simplicity and the power of that simplicity. Vodou is a religion that exists in the open, broad world, right? It's outdoors, right? The Loa are outdoors. If you are not initiated, the Loa live outside. Even if you are initiated for the most part, the Loa live outside, unless you bring them into your home through all different means, right? Through you having a relationship with them, or them being your Loa, or you receiving that packet or that plan or whatever. They are going to always be outside. So going outside, going to those places, and venerating them is a good way to interact with them. When I mean veneration, I don't just mean be like, wow, it's so wonderful to go home. You gotta maybe do something. Like I'm underneath this huge tree right now. It's very Papa Loco energy, and this is the park in my neighborhood that we do the pagan pride in, and we do community stuff here, and so it's nice, and so it's good to keep it up and clean it up if there's trash and stuff like that. So that's what I was doing before I recorded these videos. So there are things like that. You gotta also realize that it's important, the idea, sometimes how people, when they pray, right, they pray silently. They pray in their head. And yeah, I'm sure the spirits, get that, right? But there's a power when you speak out loud. There's a power when you decide to say those words of, what it is you want, or what you're doing, or what you need help with, or etc. And, just try it. You pour your water, like I said, left, right, center, hold your candle, speak earnestly from the heart. When I write that in instructions in the Legbo book, I really mean it. It's not me trying to be poetic. It's me literally saying, hey, just talk from here and tell them what's happening, because they'll get it. the idea that the Loa are tricky or are like gonna cheat you or trick you comes from like racist ideas about black people, right? That there's like some kind of, oh, they have a secret edge. They want you to suffer. I don't think that's true about the Loa. Not in my experience. I don't know why I, of all people who likes suffering the least, right? Why would I want to do that? I will. I'll go serve the spirits of like comfort and luxury and well-being. Wait, I already am. So, yeah. I really think that you know, Vodou looks at the world from a cosmological standpoint as being like, this is the place to be. This is where experiences happen. This is where things can be enjoyed and things can be felt, and things are occurring, versus like the conditions in like the spirit world, which aren't stagnant, but it's something is not the same. We can tell this through a couple different ways. Now, Gede is a spirit that doesn't exist in every place in Haiti. It's in Port-au-Prince. It's in Jacmel, but in the north, they may be there. There may be other spirits that deal with the dead in a different way. But the primary lesson that we learn from the Gede is that, like, to live while you're present, to live and not just in the moment necessarily, but to live with the idea that, like, you are right now to experience the things that are happening now that could only perhaps happen right now. And it's not life isn't a punishment. The world isn't a bad place. Like, the world is a place to be. And I think that's a really good mindset to have. And I think it's kind of easy to get jaded by, like, by things. But, like, it's good to be alive, even when things are bad, because they can always become better. They cannot ever become better if you aren't there. Vodou honors people and honors like individual power. While Haiti does not have the social infrastructure necessarily that, like, maybe us in the West are used to, like, they may not have vocabulary or words to describe like a transgendered people or queer, homosexual, etc. people, LGBTQ AA plus something peoples. It doesn't necessarily discriminate in the same. It doesn't care. Are you showing up? Do you do your thing? Are you a problem? If you were doing something, if you're productive and not a problem, the people generally do not care. Of course, like, I'm not speaking for Haitians or for even everyone's experience in Haitian Vodou. Bigots and terrible people exist everywhere. But from my experience, it's never been a thing. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of off the cuff thing, so I'm like, I'll probably make a second part of this video at some point. But it's just important to think about, like, we're the things that people are told to believe about Vodou are to make it so that building a connection with Vodou means that you're, like, breaking some moral boundary, but ultimately, like, you're interacting with morality perhaps on a more honest and deeper level when you are interacting with Vodou, because at least you're being real about the conditions of the world and the situations that people find themselves within the world. Haiti, it's like Canada, right? When you think about Canada, right, you think about the friendly Canadians, right? And yeah, they're friendly. I have Canadian relatives. They're not bad people. They're not this way, right? It's like never the people. It's like not like it's like when you talk about, like, the Chinese people. It's not the Chinese people. Chinese government, right? The Chinese government is colonizing, East Africa. The Chinese government, is imposing itself on Chinese Muslims in an inappropriate way, and different religious groups in an inappropriate way. It's not like the Chinese people who have just been subject to these powers for the most part for like the entire history of China as a nation, right? So similar, like Canada, right? Canada had a very powerful PR move, right, to make it themselves the friendly Canadians, while meanwhile, continuing an ongoing war against Native First Nations women and peoples for their entire history of the colonization of the North. So, to work through the barrier of the PR program that people have been exposed to is going to take time, right? Like when you talk about, like I said this before in another video, I only have two, so I definitely remember saying it. When you have like, when you say like, oh, they're doing voodoo, the automatic assumption is that they're doing something wrong, and they're doing something evil. They're doing something that has a power that they may not, like there may be no justice for it, because it's invisible. That's a very particular, very pointed way to look at that experience of Vodou. If that is someone's experience in Vodou as a totality, I have a couple questions to ask them. Why are people cursing you? Why do you have this many people angry at you? And you know what? There can be answers that are, not like, it doesn't always depend on the person being bad. People could just do whatever the fuck, but it's always good to know at least where it started. So, I hope this was informative to some degree or another. Yeah, let me know and give me a like, maybe a comment, maybe you subscribe. I don't know. Have a great day, y'all, and we'll see you soon.